getting a little bit harder to stand here. As you can see, we are being pelted with water from the Banana River, and it is low tide right now. The waves still crashing along these rocks. When we first got here, this was a quiet scene, just a few Lee County deputies' vehicles, but now it is extremely active. We've been held off for quite a while, but now NBC2 is getting an exclusive look closer to the perimeter. And Sheriff Marcino, I wanted to ask you, so we know right now that we believe this is a hoax. How were you able to determine that while you're still, investigating the scene?
Well, first and foremost, everybody's safe. That's most important.
We have been hearing that people are still on lockdown inside. Do you know how the employees are doing in there?
They're doing well. We're speaking to all of them.
And how are you going to move forward trying to find who's responsible for this threat? Thank you, Sheriff Marcino. We will continue this coverage as Sheriff Marcino and many other agencies work to find out what happened here at Chico's. You can count on NBC2 to be live at 3 o'clock as this investigation continues. For now, I'm Brenna Weick, NBC2.
And Brenna, before we let you go, you've been on scene for a little bit now. Just explain, are people calm? Is there a sense of panic in the air there? What are you seeing?
This scene has changed minute by minute. I'll tell you, when I first got here, I was able to speak with a father whose wife works at Chico's here. He told me that his wife called him in a panic and told him that there was an active shooter. Their son goes to the daycare here. He's only 3 years old. So as you can imagine, that father was in a panic. He was sweating, as we all are out here on this hot day, but he was really nervous. I was able to tell him that we had confirmed this was a hoax. We'll keep you updated, of course, here on air and online on NBC2, and we'll be back here at 3. Back to you guys. It's called the What's My Name campaign, and it encourages people to ask questions of their drivers before they get into the car. Might notice it's a little foggy on our camera, and that's because it went from 82 to 77 like that. The temperature drops and the winds pick up. Well, if you're watching us from your couch right now, you're probably just about as far as you would be taking a traditional vision test. You can probably see this big E. That should be no problem, maybe a few rows underneath of it. But how far can you read before it gets a little bit blurry? Optometrists say your child should have no problem reading all the way to this line, second from the bottom, with one hand covering their eye. If they can't, might be time for glasses. A couple of lifeguards just came over and put this caution tape over the stand. A lot of people, before they were kicked off the beach, were trying to get up there to get a better view, and they say it's really dangerous. A lot of the stands around here are actually starting to tilt because of the sand getting so wet from these waves. These days, a lot of people are skipping the sink and heading to the fridge for their drinking water. They use filters and pitchers like this one to stay hydrated. But how often are you replacing the filter? Most popular brands suggest every 2 months, but Consumer Reports found even then, some filters just don't stand up to tap water. Some people say they're staying because they have no other choice, but others say it's part of an experience, and those people are here on the beach. What's the first thing you do when you use sunscreen? Maybe check the SPF or shake the bottle. Experts say you need to check the expiration date before you spray. Our crews have been out here since 3 a.m., but for a lot of these people, that's nothing. Redfin says the market here is somewhat competitive with a rate of 43. That's a good thing. The lower that number is, the better it is for buyers. There's really no one on the beach, and that's because just a few minutes ago, Cocoa Beach police came out here and told everyone to get off of the beach. And I've got my eyes on a live feed in Dallas, Texas. Take this full for our viewers. This is the end of a police chase. That suspect laying in the bushes. He was hiding from cops after leading them on a high-speed chase in his car. Eventually, he bailed out of the car and started sprinting. I've been watching this feed during the commercial break, and he was just running down the railroad track. Doesn't look like he could get away for long. Now let's pull up Sat1. You're seeing for the first time live images of the scene of a plane that crashed into a house. It looks like this live shot is a little bit glitchy. It's going in and out, but that's live TV for you. We know that small plane crashed into the home, and we're seeing the aftermath here in the daylight hours for the first time. We know the pilot and one person inside that home died, and another person was rushed to the hospital. As soon as we get a more reliable live shot here, I'll bring it to you in your NBC2 Alert Center. On Sat2, we have a live shot. I can't guarantee what's going to happen, but as you can see, the Bearcat is driving down this street. We now know 4 officers have been shot by a person on the upper floors of that row home. Keeping tabs on an active shootout happening right now in North Philadelphia. On Sat2, we have a live shot, and I want to warn you, what you see could be graphic.
Chico's headquarters encompasses a sprawling campus off Metro Parkway, south of Colonial Boulevard. There are several buildings, a healthcare center, and a child care center. NBC2 anchor Brenna Weick spoke to a man whose wife works at Chico's and son attends the daycare, and he tells Brenna as soon as he got a text from his wife, he jumped in his car and rushed over.
Well, any parent can imagine the terror you feel when you think your child could be in danger. That man I talked to said his 3-year-old son was locked inside this daycare. Only a fence separated him from his child. It's a call no one wants to get.
I got a call from my wife saying there was an active shooter. I drove immediately here.
Chauncey Solinger's wife works at Chico's, and his 3-year-old son goes to daycare on the campus.
No, just want to make sure my son and my wife's okay.
His wife called him after a text was sent to Chico's employees. It said to lock their doors because of an active shooter nearby. Without hesitation, Solinger took action.
What do? Your son's in there. You want to jump the fence and help your son or your wife, but you just got to sit here and wait.
Right now, the scene is clear and that lockdown has been lifted. People we talked to are relieved this was all a hoax, but are wondering why it happened in the first place. Live in Lee County, Brenna Weick, NBC2. It's the great debate, cable versus streaming. We came to Best Buy in Fort Myers to talk to experts about what you can do to save and what people prefer. Do you mind checking off if you use cable or streaming? In a world obsessed with instant gratification,
what I want, I can put it on immediately.
the way we watch TV is changing.
I think streaming is a bit more convenient.
Do you miss cable at all?
Not at all.
Customers are looking for ways to get more content faster.
They just weren't giving me what I needed, so we went rogue.
And when did you cut the cord?
A long time ago, about like 2 to 3 years ago.
Did you ever look back?
No.
Tech experts can't deny streaming's popularity.
It's just blowing up. Every day we have people coming in trying to cut that cord and see where they can save money while still getting what they need.
And say saving money is one of the biggest factors in people's decision to ditch cable.
Cheaper.
Cheaper?
Yeah. Of course, everyone loves to save.
There are plenty of ways to watch what you want through smart devices like Amazon's Fire Stick, Google Chromecast, PlayStation View, or a Roku TV. So as long as it's hooked up to your internet, you can get all of these apps.
Correct.
If you're worried about losing Sunday Night Football or, let's say, your favorite NBC2 newscast, there's still an easy way to watch.
Yeah, I remember back in the day fiddling with this thing.
Digital antennas give you local channels for a low one-time price.
A lot of your content now is HD, and you can get that through antennas.
And just like antennas have found a way to adapt, experts say cable companies will too.
I think it always will have its place. The cable companies will be around, but I think it'll all be on demand, honestly.
We have our results. It looks a little bit split. More people are streaming, but some people are still hanging on to cable. At the end of the day, experts say cable is going to have to compete to survive. In Fort Myers, Brenna Weick, NBC2.